Hello and welcome to the Monster Painter. This time I'm going to show you a bunch of random miniatures I managed to get painted up recently. So I have a painting table littered with partly finished miniatures. The vast majority have been on this painting table since before I started my YouTube channel almost 3 years ago. They haven't moved since. Starting my channel caused me to change my creative process. This has resulted in a Gordian knot of loose ends. A sane person would just pack them up and put them in a box and clear the table and begin using the work table for work rather than years of storage. Unfortunately, I am not that sensible. Try as I might, I cannot bring myself to remove a miniature until it's finished. I know it's very, very silly, but that's the way it is. I want to get my work table back, however, so it's time to finish up these half-finished projects. And today, I will show you the loose ends I have tied up. Let's get going. First off the table, we have 2 sets of Spiker Shell Warriors by Reaper Bones. They are the old white vinyl miniatures, and so they're nearly indestructible. Dave gave them to me to paint more than 3 years ago. I got the base coats on them way back then, and now they're finally finished. But what does Dave think of the result?
Oh, sweet! They're finally done. It's been so long. I'm forgetting their names.
Spikers.
Spikers. Okay, and if they were in D&D,
I think turtles. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Finally.
Alright, see how rewarding it can be to finish stuff up? Next, we have a Gothic mausoleum brought to us by Games Workshop. I think it's a fairly recent model, part of a much bigger set. I picked it up second-hand at my favorite shop, the Sword and Board, so I don't know the details. But I do love it. This grim monument will be added to the ever-growing necropolis of Old Felstad. Now we have an old Wizards of the Coast Boulet, a classic Dungeons & Dragons monster. It's a pre-paint from 2008. I did not like the paint job at all. It was typically sloppy and rushed. I do like the sculpt, so I repainted the beast, going for a real land shark vibe. I'm rather pleased with the result. He is likely to get work as a foul horn in an upcoming Frostgrave campaign. No bark, all bite. Next up, we have the very seasonally appropriate Halloween tree, sculpted by Jason Weeb and produced by Reaper in metal for their Dark Heaven line. This tree can be terrifying terrain, or it can be an encounter on its own. He could even slip into a spooky town Halloween display without any problem. Mostly, it will be used as a bit of scatter terrain occupying the haunted forest. And it's off to the nightmarish depths of space with this Phase 3 exoform creature known as Brimstone. He is a dangerous monster from the infamously bad miniatures game Sedition Wars Battle for Alabaster. He appears to be a biomorphic light ordnance robot of some sort. I don't love the model, but it's done now. And he might get some work as a warbot in Stargrave, and I think he has some potential for the hot new game, Doomed. I picked up these 2 piles of wood last year at Christmas time. They are part of the Village Ornaments line available during the festive season at Dollarama up here in Canada. They painted up quite nicely and will make some good scatter terrain to add texture to scenes out in the woods or in the villages and towns. They are not an exciting pair of terrain pieces, but they will definitely get the job done. Now for a taste of vintage nostalgia. We have a beastman from that venerable old game Battlemasters from 1992, a Milton Bradley Games Workshop co-production that was the gateway drug for many a gaming grognard. Some of the best plastic models of the 20th century came out of this set, and our smirking beastman is no exception. Easily homebrewed into an old school game of HeroQuest, This grinning goon will be getting work as a yak-at-arms for one of my Frostgrave warbands. Of course, what sorcerer's lair would be complete without an orrery? An orrery is a mechanical device used to track the movement of celestial bodies, and this one is out of the Wizard Towers set produced by Mantic Games. I love this kind of dungeon furniture. I can see getting a lot of use out of it, either as texture for a Frostgrave table or as an exciting objective marker in any number of scenarios. This is the kind of thing you get when a Wicked Witch starts building constructs. They are Wild West Oz Winged Monkeys by Reaper Bones from the Chronoscope line, I think. Originally, they came in a set of 3. I'm not sure where number 3 has ended up, but I do know these 2 will make excellent small constructs for my Frostgrave bestiary. In the previous episode of The Monster Painter, I built a ruin out of an old dollhouse. I raided a Harry Potter playset for some gribbly bits to set the scale of the ruins. This cauldron was raided from the same playset. I slapped a little paint on it, and now it's a rather convincing bubbling cauldron for 28mm gaming. It will make a good treasure token in Frostgrave, or a bit of texture for an evil wizard's residence. And here we have an official TSR Dungeons & Dragons model from 1994, produced by Raul Partha in metal. Believe it or not, this creepy fellow is supposed to be an Ettercap. This is what they looked like before they were heavily associated with spiders in later editions. No longer able to function in that role, this fellow will be getting work as a creepy minion for an evil wizard. In the grim darkness of the 40th millennium, there is only Barbie. The last model in today's offering is an ancient Rogue Trader era space pirate. From the early 90s, models like this one would eventually evolve into the Eldar faction in Warhammer 40k. I absolutely adore this model, and it's everything I love about miniature gaming. She will definitely be the captain leading my next crew in Stargrave. An awesome model from a bygone era. And there you have it. I managed to make a little tiny dent in this crazy pile. There is still a long, long way to go before I can call it a work table and not a storage shelf. So expect to see more videos like this in the future.
Remember, fellow grognards, they call it plastic crack, but it's still a lot better for you than whiskey and whores. And now for a monster fight.
Alright, here we go. This match pits the mighty One Fist, a playable character from the 2016 Shards of Everdark expansion for Descent Journeys in the Dark, against a Green Death Knight, a miniature produced by Reaper Bones and a villain of Arthurian legend. Now the dice shall decide. Well, there you have it. Let's see how this plays out in the ring. I'm gonna get you. I am the victor.
That explains why it's got such a...
It looks like Greenskin has defeated Old Bones. Congratulations, One Fist. A cheap bag of thrift store treasure. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell. Ring the bell.
You are watching Less the Monster Painter.